So I'm here to talk about Firefox OS, as you can see from what I'm wearing. I'm a Mozilla fanboy, and and yeah, I'd like to spend the next 5 minutes talking about Firefox and my personal musings on creativity. And yeah, it's a very philosophical thing, but yeah, creativity I think for me is something that we separates us people from the rest of the world. And it's something that, dating back from when we evolved, from where we evolved, we've been able to create something out of nothing. And it always starts with a blank slate, right? So each of us, if we were to create something, we're at the same place. A blank slate, a blank canvas. Could be a freshly mined rock. And in this creativity it has no age limit, meaning your nephew or child or your niece who's starting school at the age of 3 can come up with something very creative, maybe a school project, paper cutouts, some paintings, and creativity comes anywhere. It comes from a beach, from your office, your washroom, your bedroom, wherever. There's no limit. And wherever that creative spark hits you and you wanted to create something, you just do it. And sometimes it leads us to use our own self as our own canvas, where we treat our bodies as our own clay or putty, where we shape things or draw things, and we use that creativity to extend to people or things or pets that we love. Where we dress up people, and they become extensions of our own creative energies. So there, and it's there where I want you to look at your own pockets right now, or purse or bag, where right for me personally, there is a huge suppression of open creativity, the way I described it earlier, where there's no limit, and you can do stuff. You can say, yeah, my phone is pretty neat. I can play around with it. I can paint stuff. But ask yourselves that question. When was the last time I actually did something really creative and used the mobile phone as my own personal canvas? I could say, yeah, it's open source, but when was the last time I could peek inside it, learn from it, and remember that old saying, great artists steal, right? So in that sense, when was the last time we were able to do that? And those platforms I mentioned, they can be considered as walled gardens where, yeah, there's stuff happening inside, it's all nice, but you don't know what's happening inside. You can't put stuff in there. Everything is just walled off. So this walled garden is a hindrance. And think about how the web liberated things decades ago, where anybody could just come up with a very simple tool like front page. I know at some point you did some, rudimentary stuff on that app, and it just gave you that capability to create and use the web as your canvas. And if you think about it, if you want to make your own app, say in iOS or Android, how much is it going to cost? There are proprietary stuff for iOS. Android toolkits are pretty complex, and the cost of learning is pretty high. So this is where Mozilla and Firefox OS comes in. So it is essentially an operating system where it takes the best things about the web, where you can just create stuff from the ground up using the stuff you already know. I'm sure you've tried your hand in HTML, CSS, JavaScript, And those are the things that are the building blocks of that operating system, like the messaging, like the capability to call, to make calls, the camera, and everything. But you're probably going to ask, isn't that going to open the operating system up to a bunch of amateur stuff? Like, you know, you're just going to see a bunch of Harlem Shake videos. We're just going to see Gangnam Style parodies. But the thing is, personally, I'm very optimistic. I've seen a lot of cool stuff on the web. And I think great people with imaginative stuff will take this operating system and use it as a canvas to create interesting stuff. Because, like I said, everything you see from the phone, from the basic functionality to the most complex, everything is created using HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, and nothing more. So in true open source fashion, you can basically look at what's inside the phone, take a peek, see what the best things about it, and then create. So in closing, when you think about creativity on the mobile phone and using it as a canvas, think about Firefox OS, which, by the way, will not be released in North America probably in the next months, but it'll start in South America. So yeah, so think about that. There's going to be a lot of momentum happening in South America, in Europe, and everywhere else in the world. So I hope I got you curious, because if you saw the blog post about the phones, I have one here that was displayed in CES in Las Vegas in January. So I'm just going to be at the back if you want to take a look at the next generation mobile operating system. Yeah, so just give me a chime in and say hi.